Hey, welcome back to Sec Plus as presented by the 336 Training Squadron here at Keys Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. Today I'll be introducing you to the concept of COOP. We'll go over what COOP is, the legal basis for COOP, the different COOP objectives, the elements of COOP, and why COOP is important. So what is COOP? COOP stands for Continuity of Operations Plan, and it refers to the procedures for moving critical operations to a temporary site during disaster recovery. So what this means is, say if you own a bakery and there was a fire at the main store, you know that if you stopped making bread, you wouldn't have enough income to sustain a living. So in this case, the critical operation would be making bread, and you want to continue those critical operations, so you decide to move them to a temporary site so you could keep making bread while you're recovering from the disaster. That's sort of the gist of COOP. And COOP was created by Executive Order 12656, also known as Assignment of Emergency Preparedness. So the federal government decided that all federal executive branch departments and agencies must have a COOP, a Continuity of Operations Plan. And it makes sense because many, if not all, federal departments and agencies provide essential services and critical operations that, if they were to be stopped, even for a short period of time, would cause immense issues. Say, for example, if Social Security or welfare were to be shut down, you can imagine the issues that would cause. And that's why we have COOP, to ensure that critical operations of these federal agencies and departments remain running. And COOP can be adopted for state or local operations, and can also apply to business and IT functions as well. So let's go over the different COOP objectives. Ensure that critical operations are still being run. If not possible, ensure that the downtime is as low as possible. Reduce loss of life, minimize damage, which basically refers to protecting your employees and your assets. Ensure succession of key leadership if required. And so key leadership are the people who make key decisions in regards to COOP and if a disaster were to happen. So if something were to happen to this key leadership, we want to ensure that there are people who are going to take command and make those decisions. And all of this is planned out beforehand, and it's part of COOP. We want to ensure timely recovery / reconstitution. So what this means is, if a disaster would happen and we move the critical operations of an agency or a department to a temporary site, it can't stay at the temporary site forever, right? The temporary site can only sustain those operations for a short period of time. We need to move it back to the main facility eventually. And it's got to be timely as well, and that's where timely recovery comes in. Ensure staff and employees are adequately trained and that there are sufficient resources to support COOP operations. So you hear me throwing around the word critical / essential operations a lot. What does that mean? Well, in this case, critical and essential are interchangeable, and I will be using them interchangeably throughout this presentation. They are operations that must go on no matter what, and can lead to major issues if not ran for 12 hours. They must be resumed within 30 days. So that goes back to the timely recovery / reconstitution property we were just talking about. Sometimes the law or the president can order an operation to be critical or essential. An agency head can also deem them to be critical as well. And an operation is critical if it provides vital support to another federal department or agency. So this is the end of my presentation. Tune in next time for part 2 of the COOP presentation, in which I'll be going over the elements of COOP and why COOP is important. Thanks for listening, and have a fantastic day.